Well, welcome to WWE TNA Talk. My host King Wrestling, aka John Harris. This is my Impact Wrestling review for last night's show. I really didn't like most of it last night. I'll tell you why as we go along, but I don't agree with the MVP heel turn and him getting a title shot. Because he's supposed to be running TNA, so I don't see why he being a title shot so soon and turning heel so soon. But we'll get into that later on my final thought. Let's start with it. Eric Young started the show. We started the show with Bully Ray driving to TNA headquarters to meet Dixie Carter to go get Dixie Carter, attack Dixie Carter. And when he finally, they should be off the road tonight. When he finally gets there, he goes inside, he sneaks inside. Accidentally goes and catches the door before it closes. He goes right through Rockstar Spud, carries him to the office, sits behind the desk, calls a meeting, and they're all drinking beer, music's playing, and finally Bully Ray puts Spud through a table, powerbombs the table, and takes his phone and finds out what Dixie Carter is, and leaves. Then we start Impact Wrestling with Eric Young coming out confirming how he's a fighting champion, how he said he'll defend the title every single week, how he's not in the best physical or mental health, but he's going to defend the title anyway tonight. He calls out, says he's using an open challenge tonight for somebody to come out, challenge him for the TNA World title. So Bobby Roode comes out and says he wants a title shot tonight. He only said he got a title shot last week and he lost. So now, Bobby Roode goes on about the history about Team Canada and how far they go back and what they've been through, and he said they should do it one more time for old time's sake. And Bruce said he doesn't get it done this time, he won't get another title shot. So Young agrees to the title match. So it's going to be Eric Young versus Bobby Roode for the TNA World title later tonight. But no, it's not. And then backstage segment, MVP has Young come to his office, sit down, and he's he's giving Eric Young that off. There'll be no title shot tonight. And later tonight, he'll announce Eric Young's opponent for TNA Slammiversary. So we had EC3 beat Angle in a really short match that really didn't do. Really wasn't much of a match. Really. It was like a 5-minute match. Angle's knee gave out twice. They did a knee injury Angle. Because Angle's going to be out for 4.5 months. We've probably seen the last of Kurt Angle in TNA wrestling. Because when he's healthy to come back, it'd be in September when his contract's expiring with TNA. And he's talked about going back to WWE for one final run, so. Have we seen the last of Kurt Angle in TNA? It's possible. Very possible. I think they did this match very, very wrong. Booking wise. They didn't do it. The match wasn't that good in the first place. It was too short. Angle can have a lot better matches than that. They shouldn't even had a match. They should have done where EC3 took him out in the ring or backstage or something. His system really didn't do all that much for EC3. And he's not that over at all, EC3. He's really not. People boo him because of his last name, because Dixie Carter. They don't boo EC3 because of EC3. They boo EC3 because of his last name, Carter, and because of Dixie Carter. We don't know if he can get over on his own or not, because he really hasn't had a chance because of his last name, because who he's associated with, Dixie Carter. But EC3 won. We had a tag team title match, ladder match with the Wolves and the Bromos. The bromance. I am so sick of seeing these two in a title match. We see in a title match so freaking much. It's not even funny. Ridiculous. TNA needs some fresh blood in their tag team division. They really, really do. They need to rebuild that tag team division bad. That tag team division has been bad for a long time now. They need some new blood in that tag team to a division. Really badly. They really do. They do. It is what it is, but they do. They need some new tag team blood. But the Wolves won the ladder match. It was a decent ladder match, but I've seen better ladder matches with a lot more, high risk moves and more stuff with the ladders. This was a pretty short ladder match. Decent ladder match. I liked the match. It was decent. Could have been a lot better. That could have been a lot better if they gave it some more time. So wish they would get. It felt like they were rushing the matches last night, not giving them much time. But we had next group debut. Yeah. I don't even know what to say about that. I'll give it a couple more weeks, but I have no interest in Nexus Group whatsoever, but I'll give it a couple more weeks. But they have the worst theme music ever. Okay, their theme music sucks. I know it's a carny gimmick and all. They're carny people, but come on. And it's so sad that they had Kazarian job up to Nux. That wasn't right. Kazarian's contract is expiring soon. So we may be seeing the last of Kazarian and TNA in the next couple of weeks. It's going to expire sometime this month. So could be seeing Kazarian and TNA. Chris Sabin's gone from TNA. Chris Daniels gone from TNA. TNA has lost some of their best wrestlers. Their roster is nowhere near as good as it used to be. They've lost a lot of good wrestlers. A lot of big names. The roster's not as good as it used to be at all. I think Chris Sabin and Chris Daniels show up in GF Global Force Wrestling with Jeff Jarrett's promotion. So I have to wait and see what happens there when they start announcing signings and stuff and find out who signs with them. And I'll do videos about them too down the road. But they just jobbed out Kazarian like he's nothing. They're not treating him very well. They do this to everybody when their contract's running, when they're not going to resign. They job him out left and right. I don't know. I just hope they would treat Kazarian better, but it is what it is. So we had in an evening gown match. The beautiful people, Velvet Sky and Angelina Love, taking on Brittany and Madison Rayne. The beautiful people won. Brittany was the first one eliminated. Then they cheated to eliminate Madison Rayne, and they won. They're jobbing out Brittany left and right. Every match Brittany's in, she loses. They're not building Brittany up one bit. She loses every single match she's in. She won her debut match, and since her debut match, she's lost every single match since her debut match. They're not booking Brittany very well at all. Not at all. They're booking her very weak. Actually, I don't know why they're booking Brittany so weak. Looks like they turned Gail Kim sort of face, kind of face, in a way, but not really. And Bobby Roode's not a face. Bobby Roode's a heel. Bobby Roode is a heel. MVP came out to announce Eric Young's challenge for his anniversary. Before he could announce it, Bobby Roode came out, asked him what the hell he was doing by canceling his world title match tonight. And what right did he have doing that? And maybe he said he had to earn another title match. Bobby was like, earn? Are you serious? After all I've done for this company? Eventually, they got into it. They started brawling, fighting, Rude and MVP. So, and they had to be separated by referees and security, and so we had Willow and Magnus going well. This is a very short match. Didn't last very long. Wasn't much to the match. Willow won by DQ, and Bram interfered and took out Willow and cost Magnus to get disqualified. And he beat down Willow after the match. Magnus walked out because he didn't like what Bram was doing. I don't know where this storyline's going, but what can he do with Magnus? There isn't too much moment. Vince is nowhere to be found after last week when he attacked Magnus and thought they were doing something with those two. And then And the Abyss just disappears again. So I don't know what they're doing with Abyss whatsoever. We have to wait and see on that. But then the last thing of the night was MVP coming out. He asked Eric Young to come to the ring. He's like, Eric Young, I'm gonna name my word. Here's your opponent for Slammiversary. Nobody came out. Nobody came out. Eric Young turned around a few times to look at MVP. Then MVP attacked Eric Young, took him and beat him down, laid him out, and said, "I'll see you at Slammiversary." So it's MVP versus Eric Young for the TNA World Title at Slammiversary. I hate this. Every bit of it. I do. That's all TNA can come up with for the second biggest pay-per-view of the year is MVP versus Eric Young for the TNA World Title. They're going back to the old ways, pushing former WWE guys to become world champion. They're pushing MVP to become world champion. Because we all know Eric Young's going to drop the title at Slammiversary to MVP, most likely. I see that happening, to be honest with you. But MVP turns heel. It's way, way, way too early for MVP to be turning heel. He should not be turning heel right now at all. But that was Impact. Now my final thought is going to be about Eric Young and MVP at Slammiversary for the TNA World Title. I think this is a bad idea. This is a bad main event for your second biggest pay-per-view of the year. TNA, that's all you could come up with. If Eric Young and MVP for the World Title at Slammiversary, that's it. Is your creative team that lazy? Taking the easy way out? Seriously? You could come up with you couldn't do a King of the Mountain match? I would have liked the King of the Mountain match. I would have preferred that a lot better. Samoa Joe should be getting the title shot at Slammiversary. Maybe Samoa Joe or Bobby Roode should got the title shot at Slammiversary. Should have been Eric Young versus Bobby Roode at Slammiversary for the TNA World Title, where Roode would have won the title at Slammiversary. But they're not doing that. Instead, they have Bobby Roode job out to Eric Young last week. So that took that out of possibility for Slammiversary. Something about who the hell's going to take on Eric Young at Slammiversary for TNA World Title? Who's left to face Eric Young? I admit, there's not many people left to face Eric Young right now, because he's fought everybody on Impact Wrestling, so TNA's backed themselves into a corner. Here, big time. Because Eric Young has been the title on Impact Wrestling, so there's not many people left he can fight, because TNA has no major heel right now. TNA does not have a major heel right now to go against Eric Young. Then I don't see Bobby Roode as a major heel, because they're not going with that. They're going with Eric Young versus MVP. Eric Young versus MVP for the world title? Seriously? I don't get why TNA is going down this route. What is the point of having two heel bosses? You have Dixie and MVP as both heel bosses now, feuding each other. How is that going to work? What is the point in that? How are two heel bosses going to feud against each other? It makes no sense at all. MVP explains this somewhat in coming weeks, where this was the plan the whole time. He had to get power and to do this all along. They're pushing former WWE guys now, because MVP forms a group with Kenny King and Bobby Lashley, two former WWE stars, Bobby Lashley and MVP. So TNA's going back to the old way, pushing former WWE guys to the top. I thought they were done with that, but they're not. So I don't know. I really have no interest in the Bully Ray Dixie Carter feud really at all. I really don't. I think Bully Ray could be doing a lot bigger and better things right now than feuding with Dixie Carter of all people. So I don't know where they're going with that. Have to wait and see the rest of the anniversary card. But this has been WTNA Talk with host King of Wrestling. Thank you for listening. See you next time.